Hey everyone, welcome to another All 22 breakdown. This is Paul Atwal with Pewter Report, and today we're going to look at the Eagles versus Bucs wildcard matchup. And to me, in a broad sense, this was a game of two different coverages. One, the Eagles played a ton of zone, and Brady carved them up. He knew exactly where to go with the ball with lightning speed. He just processed things so quickly, did a great job of decision making, was on time. I think it went something like 23 of 27, 0 sacks, and even those 4 incompletions, a couple of them at least were drops. Just did a great job of being accurate and finding the soft spots. And then on against man coverages, the Eagles gave the Bucs a lot more trouble. But to start the game, they really only used it on third downs, and then by the time they started using it a bit more later in the game, it was just too little too late. But in the 14 snaps that the Eagles did play man, they generated 4 sacks, and Brady only went something like 6 for 10. Again, he was accurate even in those incompletions, but guys just struggled to consistently separate. Pressure was an issue. A lot of stuff. And we'll take a look at both. Obviously in the actual game, there was a lot more good than bad and a lot more zone than man, but we're going to probably look at an even amount of both just because I want to look at some of the issues that could come up for the Bucs as they continue throughout this playoff run. All right, so first play that we're going to look at here, the Buccaneers come out 3-1. Actually, sorry, no, it's 2-2, 11 personnel, and the Eagles are playing their quarters zone match coverage here, which they played a ton of this game. And the Bucs are going to run what I call arches. I think in Arians' playbook, it's called angle. They run it with a lot of different formations, so it can end up looking different depending on how they're lined up. But this time, basically the main two route combination that you're going to get, and this time it's using a running back from the backfield, is this crosser that's going to be run by Gronk, and then an angle route behind him. And it's designed to create a conflict for generally like the hook zone player. And I'll let this run, and then there are a couple of things I want to point out. So just a nice completion. 57 gets to the outside of Gronk, and that's actually the first thing. So notice how pre-snap, he's playing with inside leverage, and the strong safety is down in the box here. He's really trying to give support to 2 and 3, like the tight end and the running back, and he's just completely leaving the number 1 receiver locked up one-on-one. And that's kind of what teams can get away with when they don't respect the players outside. And that's one of the big changes now with AB gone and Godwin gone. Is before you had, in a lot of formations, you had Evans and AB on the outside, 2 very legitimate threats, and then Godwin, of course, on the inside, and you really had to pick your poison. And now it's more so just Evans, and depending on where you line them up, the defense can adjust accordingly. So here at the top of the screen, I think this is Brashad Perriman. The Eagles, they're just not worried about him. They let him go one-on-one. The safety is not helping there at all. And he's playing, and the strong safety here, he's just playing a little bit to the outside of Gronk. So really, I think 57 was meant to maintain inside leverage here. And that could really clog everything up over the middle, make this a lot more difficult. Instead, he just hops right outside after the snap and gets beat inside, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but impossible to know without being in their defensive meetings. And just at the bottom here, another nice design. In this version of quarters, the Eagles, multiple times throughout the game, they use what's called a smash call, where the number 1 receiver here, if he runs like a stop route at 5 yards depth or less, this outside corner, he's going to yell smash or whatever their actual word for it is. You're going to see him pointing right there. And what's going to happen is this apex player, he's going to shoot out right out to the number 1. He's going to take him in the flat. And then like the corner number 2 here, but the outside corner, he's going to just drop vertical and he's going to eye the number 2 receiver. And this concept does a really good job of taking care of that exploiting that, because instead of like, say, what they're anticipating here is something like a quick hitch, smoke, and then like a corner route or fade, instead, Johnson just has this inside curl right here. And he's actually wide open if Brady wants it, but he's reading this side out and finds Gronk. So just a nice design there. Just wanted to point out that's taking advantage of one of the Eagles' most frequent calls in this quarter's coverage. All right, next play here. Again, 11 personnel. Again, 2-2. And again, the Eagles are playing quarters. We're going to get a really nice curl swing combination. Evans down here on a curl. I think Keyshawn Vaughn out here on a swing, and that gets number 49. to just flare way out. And it basically creates a pure one-on-one for Evans as if it's man, but really it's zone. And Brady does a great job with his eyes, starting out left, doesn't just give it away what he's doing to the zone defenders who are reading his eyes. And then I think he knows the entire time that he's working back to Evans because just the timing with the footwork and the timing with the route is just so perfect. Brady puts it low, protecting Evans. Easy pitch and catch. All right. I think this is the first play off of a turnover. And the Bucs, this time they're in 12 personnel. They're in this hip slot formation that they used a few times throughout this game. And they set this play up well because a few other times in this game, they came out in this formation and they ran like weak zone runs. And this time, now they call play action off of it. And just look at how much that second level for the Eagles bites down. No one there to take away the over route. No one helping underneath it because they're just completely out of position and just really well set up by the Bucs. And you also get this, what you typically get with a route like this from Evans, whether it be an over or a crosser, you're going to get a dig behind it, and it creates a really nice 1-2 read. This counter, Darden runs a dig and up, and look at as soon as he fakes the cut, that corner starts driving down immediately. His hips are facing this way. All his momentum is going this way. There's no way he's catching Darden. So if Brady wanted to, he could just bomb this way out here for a touchdown as well. He takes this one instead to Evans, easier throw, same result. Really well done. Again, so most of the game, they were carving up zones with just quick underneath passes, quick game, but they did manufacture one explosive here as well. All right, now let's look at some of the plays that gave the Bucs trouble. This is 3rd and 7, 12 personnel. You start out 2-2, motion into 1-3, so you have the nub tight end Gronk isolated. You're going to get one cross from the Eagles, so the weak side safety, he's going to come down here, play that robber position, looking to take away any crossing routes from the strong side. And in a situation like this outside receiver has to be able to win his matchup one-on-one. This is Breshad Perriman. And again, similarly up here. Now, it's difficult when it's Gronk that you're isolating or any tight end because they're just not really much of a vertical threat. I mean, maybe you can throw a jump ball fade out there to them, but the Eagles, they're just not really respecting it, and that's why they're able to get away with a coverage like this. Whereas earlier in the season, these single high, one hole, one robber, these coverages were just a death sentence against the Bucs when you had AB and Godwin out there. Think of that Miami game. And really, if you watch the tape, even the Patriots game, I mean, John Legend and I always talk about how the Bucs should have, that the score does not represent how that game was because of the coverages that the Patriots were playing. Like the Bucs had all sorts of explosive opportunities that they basically they screwed up just on their own. Anyway, but now it's a totally different situation. And no one's open here. This is completely blanketed. Brady doesn't get a chance because Wirfs is in. This is after his injury. He comes back in and just gets beat immediately. So, no one has a chance. But, who's open here? Perriman's locked up. Braid's locked up. Evans does a fine job, but when he's playing inside, you're going to see a lot of these robber coverages where even if Evans wins here, there's no way he's getting the ball anyway, right? So just a tough situation here. All right, next play here. Motion now into 2-2. The Eagles are again going to be playing one man. This time it's one hole. It's going to be a linebacker that's taking away this middle area, but very similar idea. And again, you're going to have Breshad Perriman down here, just totally one-on-one. Evans on the inside, so he's not too much of a vertical threat here. He definitely still can be, but he ends up going on a crosser. You actually see a pretty decent design here. You're trying to get these deep crossers and create congestion up here, get a rub, something like that. But this time Josh Wells is just beaten him right off the bat pretty much, and not much of a chance. But again, you want to see more from Breshad Perriman down at the bottom. If they're going to be facing these type of coverages, he's got to be the guy on the outside that's winning. And if he's not, it makes it a lot harder to move Evans inside, which I know a lot of fans want to see, but it just really clogs things up, makes it so much more difficult when those guys on the outside aren't winning consistently. All right, this will be the last play we look at. Again, 11 personnel, 3-2 empty. And we're going to get a pick a side type of situation here. So down at the bottom, we're going to get tier, which is maybe I would say their second favorite passing concept. And basically it's going to be, most often it'll be a basic route here from Evans or the number 3. It can be a post, it can be a corner, but usually it's just this in route. And then you get these little 5-yard ins from the 2 and 3, from the 1 and 2. And typically you want a 2-high look for this concept. And then up top, you have more of a play that's designed to be 1-high, which is you're going to get Gronk on like a fade. Gio's going to motion in and run underneath Gronk for a little quick out route. So yeah, that's where Brady looks. And there's no separation. It's a good design. I mean, timing's maybe a little off with Gio and Gronk. Down at the bottom, maybe Scotty Miller gets open, but that's not really where process-wise Brady's meant to be looking. But, Tyler Johnson's not really open there. Mike Evans not really open, and it's just tough. So the good news is the Rams don't play a ton of man. The bad news is they're also a very smart team that would be willing to switch it up big time if they felt that was the way to get an edge. But it's going to come down to Brashad Perriman and Scotty Miller being able to win on the outside and be respectable threats. Because if they're not, that really makes it hard to move Evans around. Because when he's inside and the guys outside aren't being respected as deep threats, we saw it here today, and we saw it especially against the Saints in that 9-0 shutout when the top guys went down, is just how much they started clogging up the middle of the field. Even in their quarters coverages, their 2-high coverages, they're just prioritizing the middle of the field and just leaving those guys isolated on the outside. So hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown, and I'll catch you guys next time.